And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, October the 10th, 2020, Season 14, Episode 31. I'm Scott.
And I'm RJ.
Welcome to the show. If you want to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. 334-272-9228. Check out ingamechat.net for all the links that you can use to get in touch with us. You can reach out to us through email, everyone at ingamechat.net, Facebook, In-Game Chat, Twitch, of course, we're on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv. Type in In-Game Chat, you'll find us. You can also use our website just to get into, that'll give you all the stuff to get in touch with us. So go there. We are streaming right now on Twitch. You can find us there. Join in the chat room live while we broadcast. We get this out of the way real quick like. That is, there we go. Good.
Clap, clap.
Put that away. I don't know if I'm going to need... This is going to be the first show I've had to use my new computer with. Which I've got everything set up. As far as I know. I think the only thing that is... I'll talk about that build. Yes, I am feeling much better. Carson. That's Carson. Yeah, God, he hasn't been in this room in forever. Church there in the thing, or CH11RCH, I guess, but Chillerch, I don't know. Anyway, I haven't seen him in forever. He and I went to E3 together one year as part of the Reddit's our gaming thing, doing reports from there for that subreddit.
Yeah,
which is how I met him. Now he's a brand new dad again, or is it again, or is he? I don't know if that was their first child or he just had a second, but yeah, he's dad, and he is amazing with the camera. Just does fantastic stuff with his camera.
Pro level photography.
Videography mostly.
Videography,
yeah. I think more videography than I think he does photography as well, but really good with the video stuff.
I was thought that'd be usually the case. Good with the
I mean, probably
photos
both
as well.
Exactly, yeah. But great friend of mine. Haven't seen him in here in a while. I've seen him on my Facebook page, time and time again, keeping up there. But I don't really post too much with the personal stuff. And so I know he saw that as me sitting inside the ambulance and everything.
Yeah,
getting taken to the hospital. Which I got to go back, by the way, on the 22nd. So, little show notes here. We're not going to have a show next weekend. So there won't be a show next weekend. The Halloween's kind of up in the air. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. Because I know RJ is probably, you're not going to.
I don't know. It's most likely I'm going to be going, but if we do go, it's going to be the weekend of Halloween.
Right.
But like I said, I'll keep you up to date on that as we get more details.
So there's that. Definitely won't be having a show next weekend, though. I go back into the hospital on the 22nd of October for another procedure, but it is kind of outpatient thing. They're just going to go in. They're basically going to do the same thing they did before, but this time there won't be a threat of a heart attack looming. This time it'll be much more in control and won't be we got to do this right now. Let's get to it. Be a planned type of thing. So, yeah. So show notes on the upcoming episodes here. Show note on this episode, because I was using my new computer to kind of get music ready for this one, I think I know exactly what I did that I don't need to be doing. I was able to get our bumper cuts in here, but I have no titles. A few of them have titles, and at least one that I listened to and could remember from last night has a title. Did it get brighter?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
One of the fluorescents came on. Yeah. Spotlight.
Yeah, right? Yeah. However...
so we're going to be playing Name That Tune, right?
Basically. Okay. And I cannot tell you, I can't even begin to think about where did I pull this from. I'm trying to remember some of them, but I can't remember all of them.
I can name that tune in 2 notes.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. Apparently lights are starting to work in the building now.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what's going on. Yes, my new PC is built, and I will talk about that and the building of which coming up. But let's turn to RJ here and find out what he has played.
Grand Theft Auto Online, who's what I've been playing mostly this week. They got a special on contact missions. You get 2 times as much cash and 2 times as much experience going through the game. So for
what is this again?
Grand Theft Auto Online.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No wonder I zoned out because I'm not playing that at all.
Yeah. But I can get like 4 missions in and get me about 100,000.
Really bright in the room.
Yeah, I know. A bunch of lights going on, right? Yeah. It's like how many fluorescents? Like 2 comes on, and then all of a sudden just pops
they all
off.
Decided
or whatever.
to work anyway. GTA Online.
Yeah. So anyway, get like 4 missions. I get $100,000 of in-game currency, and it doesn't take long at all, especially at the level I'm at with all the weapons and everything available. So it takes no time to get 100,000 real quick. So if you want some quick cash, just go through there and play some contact missions. Gerald. Simeon, all the folks that do little odd jobs around Los Santos, so you can do all that. Spent some time with blew the dust off of King of Fighters 14. I wanted to get some time in with that. Haven't played in a while. Tried to get some of those long, elaborate combos that I was always a fan of in the game, so I was able to play it with my main team of Terry, Andy, and Joe, Team Fatal Fury. But if you want to see some really nasty ones, I still say the best one is Vanessa. One of the characters in there. I've seen characters use her and get almost 100 hits in a combo and keep it going in a practice session.
Okay.
And yeah, so I mean, meter when she gets meter, she is deadly. And she can keep you out of the action for a long period of time. So I was just practicing some combos with that, just having fun with that a little bit. Also played a little bit more of Cuphead. I'm stuck at a point where I'm fighting this. I think one of the robot bosses. I think it's called the Junkyard Jive level, and I've been trying to get through that. So I've been trying to beat this boss. I've had plenty of attempts. I mean, it's not the first time. I've had 20 to 30 attempts and fail on each one. So I'm just going to keep plugging away till I get at it. And outside of that, I think I played a little bit of Code Vein. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Code Vein. I played a little bit of that as well. Still inching my way up to level 300 on some of my ultimate characters. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I can't say I played much other than Animal Crossing. Doing my stuff there. I, for the first time since last Sunday, not last Sunday. Last Sunday is when I started building the PC. Sunday prior to that. So for the first time in that amount of time, I finally logged into Destiny this morning and got everything going with the Halloween event that they're having, the Festival of the Lost, as they call it. So yeah, that's really as far as it goes for video game playing. I started building the PC on Sunday afternoon. I would say I probably started around noon or 1 o'clock, something like that, and did not finish that night. Got to the point, got around to 6 o'clock or so. I mean, it took me a long time to build this thing. It is one of the most, I don't want to say complicated builds, but when I built my first, or when I built the PC prior to that, it had fans that were already installed. I bought a couple of other fans to work and a cooler that goes on it. It was an air cooler and stuff, and I was able to put that on, no problem. I was able to build that in the span of a night, not a problem. This one was a little bit more complicated because I was using an AIO, which is a water cooler with a radiator. I'd never done that before. I was using many, many more fans and LEDs than I had ever used before.
A buddy of mine was looking at the picture you posted, just wondering what all the rainbow effects was going on through that thing.
So this is the first time I'd ever done anything like that. The first thing that I noticed was that the fans that I bought, they're not threaded. In other words, the holes where you screw in, the screws that come with it, they're not threaded. No, they're not. You have to make your own threads as you screw into the fan.
Force it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James called it something. It's something about tap something. I can't remember what it's called. But, it basically cuts into the plastic and makes its own thread as you do that. It's the weirdest feeling. It doesn't feel at all like you're doing it right. Or that you're going in straight or not crooked or at an angle or something like that.
I would think doing it like that, it's going to be off. Going to feel off a little bit. You know, when we have screws, when it's.
I know.
You can feel it how it's going in straight.
You can't do that with these fans. Yeah. So, luckily though, they're these uni fans which daisy chain to each other, so I could connect 3 or 4 fans all together. Which means instead of how a fan has the 4 corners, so you've got 4 holes per fan.
Yeah.
Well, with a set of 3, you would have like 12 holes you would have to screw in if you wanted to do that. With this, you only have 4 because they're connected. They're locked in place in a row of 3, and so you only need the 4 corners to get it to screw in there, and you're good. Except for the fact that I did all of them for the radiator when I was attaching the fans to the radiator. I used all the screws that came with that one just to make sure I was doing that right. But yeah, this took me a good long while, only to finish up on Sunday thinking, okay, I think Sunday I finished up by putting the graphics card in there. But I still needed to wire the graphics card in and then plug in everything into the power supply afterwards and then plug it up and see if I get a post and that sort of stuff. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to wait. I'll do this, I'll do this tomorrow. Which is good because luckily the next day I'm looking at other builds and I'm noticing fan placements and the way they have the fans. And for the life of me, for the longest time, I thought PC fans worked just the way any other normal fan in the world would work. Like if you take a box fan that you buy at the store, you know where the front is, you know where the back is.
Yeah, there's all types of indicators on there that let you know airflow and all that type of stuff.
Well, if you know what the front of it looks like, you know what the back of it looks like. So when you sit it down, and you want the air to blow on you, you face the front of it towards you. That's not how it works with PCs. And I should have known this, but and it's weird, but because normally the way PC fans work, they're in the front of your case, pushing air. They're pulling the air from the outside, pushing it inside to cool the compartments down, components down, and then pushing it out the back. Well, for any PC case that has built-in fans, the front of the fan is always pointed outwards because they want the clean look that it has. But what that's doing is actually sucking air in. And I didn't come to, whatever. It's been 8 years since I built a PC. I put all my fans in backwards.
Well, I mean, like I was saying, the fans that I was putting in when I put mine in, there was like indicators all over the thing. All over the things let me know which way airflow and front and all that stuff was.
I looked at these Unifans. There was nothing like that on there.
Not even an arrow, no nothing, or just
not that I could sell. Then there may be, if somebody can find one and show it off, that's fine. But I looked.
Yeah.
Whenever I knew I had to turn them around, so I knew which way the air was going to go. But and I did kind of look at it just to see if there was an indication. I couldn't find anything. There's an indication to know when you've got them lined up, how you want them to lock in and unlock and that sort of thing. But there was no indication on airflow with the fans.
Oh.
So I had to flip everything. Around. My radiator was pulling in air, and then everything else was pushing air out. And you want it the other way around. You want more air. You want a lot of air coming in, and then some of the air going out. So that's the way. And so I had to flip everything around, which means I had to rewire a couple of ways. Things had to be rewired. Finally got that done. That was Monday night. So Monday night I get that done, and I think I turn it on. I get it to the room. I plug it in. I turn it on. I actually have, it's got my colors. That's when I first took that picture that you got, and I was able to hit the post. Make the post on the PC. It was working. I said, okay, it's too late to try and install Windows right now. I'm just going to do this tomorrow. So Tuesday, I go through the whole rigmarole of installing Windows 10 and updating Windows 10 and getting the drivers and doing this and doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Tuesday. Wednesday, I had a doctor's appointment, and I didn't get home until, sometime after 5. So, again, I'm sitting at the computer making sure I've got all my updates, and then going through again and starting to download all of the stuff that I normally use. I think that night I set it up to download Destiny. I knew I wasn't going to be able to play it.
Yeah,
because it was going to take a while to download. And so I'd set that up to download Destiny and get that done. So then Thursday, I get my movie editing program back on the PC and start moving over all of our old shows and all the old music and all that stuff that I need transferred from my backup drive onto the hard drive itself for what I'll need for working on the shows and stuff, because it's getting closer and closer to that's Thursday and we do a show on Saturday. So it was a week-long event just to get this computer going.
Yeah.
Friday it was finally ready. And after I got all the music ready and everything else that I'd gotten done, I just didn't feel like playing anything and crashed out pretty early last night. I think I was out before, or at least by 10 o'clock last night. I was done.
Yeah.
I was done. So I got up this morning, I downloaded the games for Windows Live or the Xbox thing or whatever all that stuff is. I don't know. Now that I have a Ultimate Game Pass, I can start taking advantage of that on my PC now, where I couldn't with Windows 7. So yeah, all of that. Fired up Destiny for just maybe an hour. Played it for maybe an hour. But it felt good to get back into it'd been 2 weeks, and it was nice. It was nice to get back into it. And to have something new to do with the Halloween stuff, even though it's still kind of old hat, still kind of doing the same thing we did last year. But
still
there's
got
some
masks and stuff like that.
Yeah, still doing the mask thing. But
I think I still got one from the first time I did it. Still in my
I've kept all mine.
Vault or whatever.
I have kept all of them.
Yeah.
Just in the event that I need them. And I don't know if I can bring the old one out and use it again. I'm not sure, but yeah, I've kept them all. About the only thing, there's some cosmetic items that I might enjoy. They've got a ship and either a ghost or a sparrow.
They get a sparrow.
But the ship is like mummified, so it's got all these bandages on it and wraps on it and stuff like that. And I think there's also a sparrow that has that, or a ghost that has all the bandages on it too. So I really want to, but you can't buy those. You have to earn so many triumphs and stuff as you do the thing. So I got to put in some work over the next couple of weeks to make sure I can get that stuff. But it felt like it was going fast. I don't know. I know how these things usually go. I usually can burn through them when I'm in a week on some of these events, and I'm good to go. And then by the time the event is over, I realize that I didn't actually have to burn through it at all because I'm just overstocked with stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, PC is up and running. The only thing that I have left to do, so it's been sitting there it's kind of an open air case right now. Actually, no, I did put the glass on, but I didn't take off the cellophane that's on the glass. That wonderful peeling sensation when you have a new technology thing. I haven't done any of that because I'm still touching the case a lot because I'm looking behind and moving it around and that sort of thing. So I won't do that yet. What I have left to do, and it'll probably be something I do tomorrow, but I have cable management.
Oh.
So everything got plugged in, and then it's like, well, let's make sure it works. You don't want to go through cable management, and it doesn't work. So everything does work, and I got everything installed and everything ready. And so now I just need to turn it around and manage the mess that is in the back and figure out how I want to manipulate that. Also a good time to see if I want to add any drives. Do I want to take any drives out of my old one and put that in there, and see if I'd like to do that, because I got enough cables and everything else that I could do that with, and I've got some space for that. Actually, I've got some space for that. Yeah, I may keep it the way it is. I didn't actually bring over any of my old drives. I started completely fresh. I've got a 2 terabyte Crucial SSD in there. I've got a 6 terabyte Western Digital Black 7,200 RPM, whatever.
7,200.
Something like that. Hard drive. And then I have got two NVMe, two M.2 drives that are in there, which you'll know what those are now from that PlayStation 5 teardown.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's a much better way to go about doing your memory than Microsoft's what's the word when they hold the rights to it or whatever. They're forgotten what the word is.
What?
It's like it's like a peripheral, but they own the it's I've forgotten what it is. I don't know. But you can only buy that.
Elias says proprietary.
Proprietary. That is what I was looking for. Thank you, Uncle Elias. Proprietary. They're proprietary hard drives or SSDs that they want, which they're marking up miserably. So yeah, it's a great way to go about it because you can get plenty of extra space, plenty cheaper than what Microsoft is asking for theirs. Does that beat out Microsoft or anything like that? I don't think so. That still doesn't hurt when you can use external storage through USB and you've got Game Pass. I mean, Game Pass is always going to be a thing that is always going to be a knock against Sony. It'll always be, an arrow to the knee for them. They'll be like, oh yeah, we can do this and this and this, and then boom, you hit them with, well, what about Game Pass? Well, we got PlayStation Plus. But it's well, yeah, and if you compare those, it's not even worth comparing. Especially considering with Game Pass Ultimate, you get the PC stuff as well as the Xbox stuff, and it's massive. The library is huge. So, trust me, I'm not saying it's better, but it's a great idea, and it's something I wish Microsoft could have figured out how to do, because I would have rather gone that route. But as it stands, external storage is fine. Those NVMEs are fast. So yeah, that's all I got to do left. Cable manage. Put the back part on. Put the glass back on. Put the top back on. Peel away the cellophane. Enjoy that great, nice peel as you pull it off, and then boom, case is done. Currently, I have a Halloween theme going on with it, so I have orange and black, which there is no black when you talk about LEDs. It's just off.
Yeah, just off.
So it's very hard to make something Halloweenish. I wonder if orange and maybe neon green or something might work.
That could work. Pumpkin stems green.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe I could throw a little green in there. So my RAM sticks are orange. The AIO is blinking orange. The fans are doing this orange chase around the thing. So it's, got the orange black stuff. So anyway, hard to do. Christmas will be much easier when I want to theme it that way.
You got red, white, and green.
I'd probably just red and green.
Okay.
Probably be the easiest thing. White looks really nice, by the way.
Real bright. Pops up.
Yeah.
Has a lot of pop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I look at other people who did the same kind of build, but they did an all white, so they got the white case with the white fans and the white AIO, and they have this whole frost look going on. Looks really nice. Kind of. I stuck with black, man. I always go with the black on the cases. I've never really gone any way out of that when I pick cases. So yeah. Anyway.
I got a little maintenance on mine now to think about it. Just every now and then take your air can, blow the dust out that builds up.
I have a suggestion of orange, purple, and green. Purple's not bad. Purple and green gives a Joker look.
That's true.
I mean, it's no big deal. I'll just go set it at the house and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, this works. This works. Yeah, I can do that. Okay. Anyway, that is my build. It is not completely finished, but it is on the verge of being finished. By the way, he's talking about the NVMe stuff.
Yeah.
Putting this out here. We got a call. Putting this out here now for people. If you want to chime in on the chat room or something like that. What are the things that you do after you build a new PC? What are some of the essentials that you put on? Now, I've already downloaded a lot of hardware monitor apps, things like that, to check the temperature of the CPU. That's without having to go into the BIOS and stuff like that. But what are some of those things that are free that you guys download and put on your PC immediately after a build. I've already got FileZilla, I've already got VLC, I've already got the Audition that I use for audio stuff. I've already got that. But I'm trying to think, because I've never done a brand new build like this in about 8 years, so I'm sure there's other things. What kind of benchmarks do you run to test out the CPU? I don't need to benchmark my graphics card. I've had that for 5 years. I know what it can do. But for my CPU and stuff like that, to run benches or to run any kind of thing like that, what's a good thing to have? So...
they're popping in already.
Yeah, Cinebench I saw, and I almost downloaded it, but it's like, if you download it, you got to sign up with this thing and make an account with whatever, and I didn't feel like doing it at the time, but I'll look into that. Cinebench R20, I will look into that. 7-zip I already grabbed.
7-zip,
Yeah, I mean, I got most of your essentials. Like your essential programs that you always have, but I'm specifically looking for... Like, I think Notepad++ is another one to get. I think that's something I should download. I'll look into... Yeah, Nanite I already... Yeah, no. I know. Nanite... In fact, I checked it before I did my build. I was like, I wonder if Nanite's still around, and it sure was. Yeah. By the way, anybody who is doing a new build, or even if you're not doing a new build, but you want to see what a lot of people are putting in their machines for... productivity and that sort of thing, go to ninite.com. It's NINITE.com. It'll give you a list of a bunch of different things. You check mark the ones you want, hit download. It'll put them all into a zip file for you, and you can get all of them in one place.
Nice.
And it's wonderful. So, yeah. I'm just curious if there's any other things like that. So, thanks for the help on that. Whoever's on the phone, I hope you can hear us, and I hope you can hold on. We're going to take a break. I don't know where this song came from. It is completely blank to me. It gives me a runtime, and it tells me where it's located on our machine, but it's got no title. It's got nothing. So I have no idea what this is from. It's supposed to be from a spooky game. I have no idea. If you listen to it, if you hear it, if you recognize it, type it in there. It might ring a bell for me, and I'd be able to tell you if you're correct or not. So here we go. We'll be back with more in-game chat right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here is from... This one I know. It's one of the ones I was easily able to remember. It's from a game called Little Misfortune.
Little Misfortune or Little Misfortune?
Well, it's like it's spelled Misfortune, but it's called Little Misfortune, and it is about a girl, I think, who may be Little Misfortune. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Little Miss or Misfortune.
Right. No. They're having fun with that. As I'm sure you just found when you looked it up.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, looks like a nice little cute game, you know.
Looks highly rated, yeah.
Is it? Okay, that's good. Yeah. Basically, I just went to Steam and clicked on horror and looked at whatever they had. So,
Let's see. Led by her new friend, Mr. Voice, Misfortune ventures into the woods where mysteries are unraveled and a little bad luck unfolds.
See, Drunk Degenerates chimes in and says that game is super charming and fun, also dark. Well, you may have just sold me on it. So, let's go to the phone lines because he's been waiting. He called in at some point during the last segment, and I was just chatty Cathy there off about my PC. Hey, Chris, what's going on, buddy?
How about y'all? What's going on with y'all?
Nothing, just getting the PC built and just, enjoying all the rain that we're getting here.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm agreeing with you on the PlayStation 5 memory. From what I've seen and read and all, as long as it meets the same spec, speed, and everything, then you ought to be pretty good to go with that type of memory that you get for it.
Yeah, I didn't, let me go back and read his, Lethal Migraine had a disagreement with him, which is fine. Gen 4 SSDs, the speed involved, 220 is a fair price. Also, people buy consoles for ease of use. All you have to do is put a card in the console, not take your console apart. I'll hand it to him on that one. Also, any SSD that will work with PS Pro Plus, as he's calling it, the PS5, will cost more than those Seagate cards. Finally, Seagate has them ready for launch, but they're going to be making those cards too. No, you can get obviously a terabyte WD. In fact, it was on sale just yesterday and may still. Let's see, what's the price? I'm just going to Amazon for this real quick. Mm-hmm. Now he's talking about Gen 4 SSDs, which is not what this is. This is a Gen 3. And it is a 1 terabyte you can get for $135. That's a terabyte on the NVMe. The speed between the Gen 3 and the Gen 4, it's negligible. But I know that WD is working on, Western Digital is working on a Gen 4 stick. Yeah. I know there are some Gen 4 products out there which are relatively, well, there you go. Oh, that's 500 gigs. Hang on.
Yeah, Lethal says there's an SSD that'll work made by WD Black and it's $230.
Right, that came out. I don't even know if that's at market just yet, but it has been announced. Mm-hmm. The Sabrent Rocket 1 terabyte Gen 4 is $200. So you're looking at the same with tax, $220, that sort of thing. Corsair has one that is 1 terabyte, which is one I have in my machine now. That's $180 for you. It's got a giant heat sink, but I think you can actually delit it. I think you can take the heat sink off of it. Mm-hmm. And use it in the machine. There's a couple of other Gen 4s here as well. There's a 1 terabyte Silicon Power 164. There's a 2 terabyte for $380, which is quite a lot.
Yeah. As long as the old external drives like we have, on the old PlayStation 4 systems and stuff, as long as they'll work with it too, but it'll be better for you to transfer the actual data or game files to the main hard drive for it to work properly. I could get by with that and just have 1 or 2 games installed at a time, and when I get done, and just uninstall it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it has to be he says it has to be a certain speed, something like 7,000 megabytes per second. Yeah. And maybe those are. I didn't see.
I think that was the same thing with PS4 as well. When PS4 and PS3,
when you switched out the SSD,
install your own hard drive, it had to be a certain speed.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
You want to put a fast one in there, but it wouldn't be able to handle
it.
So
good, there's good things and bad things. Xbox, anybody, grandpa, grandmother, and all, as long as it says Xbox One X, the X series, you don't have to worry about if it's going to work or not. But with PlayStation, you got to know your specs and everything that goes along with it, and just anything. Oh, I can get this stick here that says that for $80, and then it's not the same speed.
Don't worry, you're gonna see stuff like that.
Yep.
Where the marketing on the box or the marketing in some way in the description is going to say PS5 compatible.
Yep.
Or something like that. Because I'm not even seeing. Oh yeah, there's that's got 5,000 on the read and 4,000 on the write, and it just goes down from there on this one that I was looking at. So Yeah, he might be right on that. That other one. Let me look at the Corsair. See if I can find on this one. I know this is fascinating radio for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, look, this show is fascinating radio for plenty of people, and by fascinating, I mean that in a sarcastic sense. Even the Corsair series, which used to be the only one on the market right now, it's just barely hitting 5 on the read and nearly 5 on the, about 4 on the write. So, yeah, not even that one's hitting the 7,000 that it's asking for. Did Samsung's, were they able to do that on their 4? Let me look. Because I built everything, I haven't really been paying attention to the newer stuff because it's all been done. Oh yeah. The SSDs, the M2 SSDs for the Samsung, the new one that was just out, that's probably massive for the terabyte. Let's see, what's the terabyte price? Yeah, that's $230. Yeah, that thing's doing write speeds of about 7,000, just like he said. So, read speeds of 7,000. Write speeds probably aren't that much less at all, if at all.
Yeah. I guess some of us have to wait a little bit till the prices come down, huh?
And they will. They always do. But they will come down. Trust me, it was amazing when I was buying parts for this PC, remembering some of the money that I spent on these parts 8 years ago. You know, I bought a small Samsung SSD for like $200-something bucks. Mm-hmm. And that was like a 250 gig SSD just to put my operating system on, really.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even the NVMe's. That was big, the big SSD, the regular SSD. Yeah. So, it changes. And it's going to change, and prices are going to come down. New things are going to be built. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you wait 7, 8 years, a whole bunch of technology opens up for you to put in your new box.
Yeah, Lethal Migraine says storage is going to be a pain in the next gen. You're exactly right. Storage is going to be a massive pain. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a very limited amount of games on your system before you have to make a choice of what do I need to take off so I can put on.
Yeah, we're dealing with that now. Mm-hmm. Gamers are dealing with that now.
And Destiny's already said that they're cutting back on theirs. When they release Beyond Light, you're going to have to re-download everything, and it's going to cut down. I don't know what the current install is. I know it's over 100 gigs right now for everything you need to play Destiny right now. Mm-hmm. But after the new expansion launches, when you re-download everything, I think it's only going to be under 100 gigs for that one, like 90 or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the titles I had on my PS4 that were in the triple digits in terms of installs, and Destiny was right up there among the top.
And Red Dead and a few others that I can think of.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 always comes in the conversation.
I need to play that. I need to play that on my Xbox Series or Xbox. I want to say Series X, but it's my Xbox One X.
What was it? 150?
It was too big.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but it was at least like 110 or something.
It's still installed on my Xbox, but I have to have the disc to play it. So I gotta search around. I think it's in the Steelbook. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I haven't fired that up since I've had a 4K set to see, how great it looks. So I haven't done that yet. I watched, what was it I watched last night?
Well, a lot says, isn't Call of Duty like 250 gigs?
It could be. Is that the Battle Royale game?
That Battle Royale took forever in a decade.
Warzone or whatever?
Forever in a decade to download.
It's probably that much. It's probably massive and gigantic. And it'll only get larger as they keep adding things to it and upping the expansions to it and that sort of thing. Yeah. In fact, it's really weird. The only game I have installed on my new PC right now is Destiny 2. I haven't installed anything else. And I'll tell you, it's interesting. Hey, Chris, I'm sorry, we're going off there. What have you been playing? What's been going on with you?
More of the new Mario Wii U on the Switch. I've been doing more of that, and there's another role-playing game. I think it was. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to go to the main menu to figure out see what it was. Torn Tales Rebound. It's kind of like a retell of like Snow White and with Robin Hood and everything, but so far from what I was saying, that the storyline is a lot darker and things that are, going on in it, but it's like a Diablo clone, kind of roguelike game where you...
Oh, okay.
What was so surprising, it was only be like $7.99, and the first day it came off, they gave it a 30% discount. It was just under $6, and I think, okay, yeah, sure. I was already sold anyway.
Yeah, I bought today. Today I bought the Mega Drive Classics collection.
Yeah,
I think it was
Sega Mega Drive collection.
Yeah. It was on sale because Sega's having their 60th birthday or
60th
whatever.
anniversary. Yeah,
and so I grabbed that, even though I had a few already from the collection already on my system.
Yeah,
but I went ahead and picked that up today, and then I bought on my Switch. Excuse me. On my Switch, it's on sale for 99 cents, and it's a game called Future Grind. It's you're basically on like a futuristic looking motorcycle.
Okay.
And one of your wheels is...
Sounds like Tron already.
Yeah, I know. One of the wheels is blue, one of the wheels is pink. It's very neon. And the pink wheel can only touch the pink lines, and the blue wheel can only touch the blue lines. And your
wheelies or something?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's like the wheelies and stoppies right now.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It works sort of like a... you can ride on top as long as blue is touching blue or pink is touching pink. If you can also ride under it. In other words, the wheel can attach above you, and you can glide along, kind of like a zip line type of thing. You can do that, and you just go through the level. It's a fun little thing. I played it at PAX a long time ago. And when I saw that it was on sale for just 99 cents, I was like, oh, I remember that game. Yeah. The game looked like a lot of fun. I probably have, I don't know where my notebooks are for all of my video game stuff from my PAXs previous, but I probably have that written in there somewhere, like, oh, Future Grind. Yeah. So it's on sale. If anybody wants to pick that up, it's 99 cents. So, well, Chris, thanks so much for calling, man.
All right, y'all have a good afternoon.
You too. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Let's see. If you ever feel like streaming games from your Xbox to your PC, Scott, download a Microsoft app called I got that. I got the Xbox Console Companion, and then it took me to a brand new app that they've got, and I downloaded that one too, and which seems to be where my games are going to be. And then the Console Companion, I was able to turn on my console in the other room and was able to move it around with my PC in there, and I knew I could do some streaming from that. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff I haven't looked at that I need to look at, but yeah. Let's see, where was I going with the PC thing? Games that I downloaded, I think. What was I talking about before I jump back over to Chris?
We were talking about storage and apps put on, things like that.
Yeah, and I was talking about the games that I had downloaded. The only game I had downloaded right now is Destiny 2 and some things that I bought, which was the Sega thing. Oh, I remember what I was going to tell you. Remember that book we read, Console Wars?
Yes.
That is now, it's on that CBS All Access plan. You know, the CBS All Access where you down the thing that they turned that into a documentary thing is now, you can now watch that.
Okay.
They turn that into whatever. I don't know if it's a one thing or if it's a series of episodes. There's a Netflix thing called High Score, which is a documentary about video games. Yeah, that was good. That's like a 10 or 6-part series. I haven't watched any of that yet.
I watched a few episodes. Yeah, that was pretty good. The
but then
game one was
Console
really
Wars is on CBS All Access. And it's exactly the thing. Like when we were reading that book, we read about, hey, they were going to make this into something. And they finally did. Yeah. And so it's available now, which is a great... Console Wars, by the way, the book is fantastic. It was wonderful to read.
Yes, it is.
To get caught up about the whole Nintendo versus Sega thing from way back when. I mean, I was alive when it was happening, and I went through the whole thing.
Yeah, there was.
But I didn't know the details.
There was a little talk about that during in High Score on that Netflix special. There was a little talk about that. Tom Kalinske was one of the people interviewed, talked about it. He had the whole chalkboard about what their plan was when they wanted to cut into Nintendo's market share at the time. It was pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good. It's Console Wars about Sega does what Nintendo. Basically, it's about Sega's. It really is coming from Sega's side more than it's coming from Nintendo's side.
Yeah.
It talks about what Sega was going through before they hired the Kalinske guy.
Tom Kalinske, yeah.
To come in and kind of make something of the company, how Sonic came about, how they decided that they were going to have to market themselves against Nintendo and take on the big,
and the friction coming from Sega of Japan and America, the methods used. There was some real conflict about the methods Sega of America used that Sega of Japan did not like at all. But it's what they had to do to get cut into the market share. Nintendo had like a 90% grip on the market share at the time, and Sega was trying to cut into that.
I know.
Yeah, so do whatever it takes, man, and that's what they did.
Yeah,
whether Sega of Japan liked it or not.
And they pushed Nintendo to kind of branch out as well. They pushed Nintendo to say, well, if they're going this way and they're getting this attention, then we need to kind of change our ways of doing things, which was weird because Nintendo, just like Sega, sort of. Mm-hmm. Sega of America was a different company than Sega of Japan.
Very.
Whereas Nintendo of America and Nintendo of Japan, Nintendo of America was basically Nintendo Japan.
Yeah.
They were highly controlled by Nintendo of Japan, saying like, "Here's what you're going to do. Here's what you're going to do. Here's what you're going to do." And Nintendo of America really didn't have much of a say in what they were going to do. It all came from the heads back in Japan. Whereas Sega of America was like, "You guys don't understand. This is different here. We have to do it this way. Mm-hmm. We can't do it the way you're doing it." But Nintendo was like, "It's been working. We're not going to change."
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a fascinating book. I can't wait to watch the documentary about it. So. Yeah.
So Lethal says, Sony is that way now. Yeah.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Sony's just exactly like
Sony
that
of Europe is much different than Sony Japan. Mm-hmm. But unlike Nintendo of Japan was the mothership. Mm-hmm. You did not do anything without Mother's approval.
Yeah.
And Mother's approval was, we don't need to change this. Let's just keep doing it our way because we're stuck with our traditions. Mm-hmm. This is what works for us here, and this is what is also going to work for you there, even though they didn't realize that it's not.
No, it's not.
Sega's going to be different. So, Anyway, fantastic book, which I want to thank Sarah for giving us an early copy of that. Mm-hmm. Was fantastic to get, and, there's a documentary about it. I have gone on and on far too long.
Console Wars tends to do that.
I know.
Yeah.
I swear
it's that good, man.
Oh, I know what I was going to go on about. I built a new PC, right? All these new parts, everything else. So I should be like, hey, let's download all the games so I can see what they look like, blah, blah. No, because I didn't upgrade my GPU. I didn't upgrade my graphics card. Mm-hmm. It's still the same graphics card I've had for 5 years now. There's no point in downloading any new games to see what they're going to look like. I know what they're going to look like.
Yeah.
It's basically... I built a machine for a card that I don't have yet, for the 3080 or the 3080 something of whenever that gets released, to be able to enjoy it. And it wasn't like a typical new build that you would do where you download a bunch of games to see how they look now that they're on new stuff. Mm-hmm. No, that's just not the case. It's same old, same old. I got a pretty new box I can look at. But
with lights.
Yeah. But I don't have a lot of fireworks on screen, basically. Yeah. I got a brand new operating system I can mess around with. I got I got better RAM that I can, do a lot more with. I can have 2 tabs open in Chrome now. Not have to worry about it. But yeah, so we'll see. Tonight's gonna be interesting to see how the video editing stuff works. Especially when I go into the render mode. To see how all that stuff's going to go when it starts to render the full thing. Is it going to take 2.5 hours, or is it going to get zippy? Mm. I know it's going to take a while, but it's going to take as long as it used to. So, anyway, we have got to take a break here. We are going into, what is this? A game called The Town of Lights. It is the main theme from that game called Town of Lights. We'll be back with more. We're going to hit the news here. We'll be back with more of in-game chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is music from, I actually have the title on this one, from Deadly Premonition 2. Fighting the something. It's cut off. Yeah, Deadly, yeah. Conciliator. Says, said it sounded Metal Gear Solid 3-ish. It does have a jungle motif to it. Mm-hmm. He also said, you've come a long way, Scott. Last time you built a PC, it was like, no, we installed the 32X Windows instead of 64. Mm-hmm. Now, the fans were backwards and wires and stuff. But progress, yes, I know, progress being made. Windows 10 wasn't really a difficult install. It just took a while. It's the first time I'd had Windows 10, so... Mm-hmm. It just took a while to download all the different updates and service packs and everything else, and just a bunch of stuff that you had to go through to make it happen. So, let's get into some of the news, because we haven't touched on that. It's already been an hour, and I haven't touched on any of the news. Let's see. Ghosts of Tsushima has... Yeah, thanks. It's written in front of me so I could get it. The co-op, the new game plus... and the different features and everything is coming out, I believe, on the 16th? Mm. Yeah. The 1.1 update comes out on October the 16th. Still a game I've yet to play, but likely will. Again, we're in Black Friday territory here. So
$30.
Yeah, that's my prediction. Mm-hmm. That's my prediction, is that it's going to be $30 for Black Friday. I think it's down to 45 right now. On PlayStation on the network. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think you can. I think Black Friday it'll be down to 30.
Yeah.
So, Arioka talks about that digital fountain. Yes, I saw that this morning. I didn't actually watch the video, but I read the article, where AC Unity is finally running at a locked 60 frames per second on Xbox Series X. However, you have to have an original disc copy of the game, mm-hmm. and you have to keep it from downloading any updates or patches. You have to run it as is. When that game released, it had a lot of problems, and so they released a bunch of updates and patches which kind of tweaked it enough that it could run on what it was running on, and even then you could get maybe 30 frames per second out of it. Yeah. But now to get the full 60 and to have it run exactly the way that it was always meant to run without any of those problems.
Yeah.
The Series X can handle it, but again, the catch is don't download any of the updates. Just play it off the disc, which you can go into any store and find a used copy of AC Unity easily. Well, now you can. I don't know if that's going to get hard over the next couple of weeks or whatever, but... Yeah.
Arioka mentions that it'll run at 60 frames per second, but it'll still be full of bugs.
Oh, is it still... Yeah, okay. You're right. It will still be full of some of those really fun bugs and some of those real creepy bugs that they had in there where people didn't have skin. Yeah, it was just like the floating eyes and the tongue.
Floating eyes and the teeth.
Yeah. And the teeth and the tongue and that sort of thing. That's in certain areas of the game, not all of it.
Nightmare fuel.
Yeah, it was. However, if I'm playing now, mostly I stick to PC on my Assassin's Creed games. I basically stick to PC on those. In fact, I have Valhalla I got for free because I bought my CPU. I got that registered, so I'll have Valhalla when it releases on PC. So, yeah. What else? Oh, anyway, back to this stuff. I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima. Have you seen have you been on your PlayStation since they updated the trophy stuff?
The only thing I noticed was that instead of the 17 for the trophies, it went to 310, but I never looked in there.
Yeah.
There's some different format going on with the trophy presentation now.
They changed it, and they're getting... and it's already in effect.
Yeah.
Your trophy level will automatically be remapped to a new level within this new range based on the trophies we've already earned. For example, if your trophy level is 12, Your new level will be somewhere in the low 200s. This new calculation means players will progress quicker through the early levels, and levels will increase more consistently. Platinum trophies will count more toward your level progression, making them even more valuable. With the new trophy levels come new trophy level icons on PS5, as well as the PlayStation app at a later date. Of note, the icons will also have a subtle distinction to visually suggest how close you are to the next level. The new trophies are designed to encourage people who like seeing their level ding. It's basically what they're doing. So, and that's great. I've never been focused on really any of those through. About the only way I look at that is in the Triumph section on Destiny 2. But mainly because there's something at the end of that, like a title or something like that, that I want to get. Like some of the triumphs through Festival of the Lost. You get all of those, and that's how you get the ship or the Sparrow or something like that. And so everything in there's got a reward I can use at the end of the game. Some of the stuff just comes up, I don't even know I've done it. It's just because you played so much. Kind of like Animal Crossing. A lot of the stuff I do, it's just monotonous, and if I do it enough, it's like, oh, you did this 500 times. Here's your thing. So,
in my case, trophies really just it's very rare that I'm trophy hunting for anything in the game. I think the last time I did that was Ghost of Tsushima. That was the last time it was like looking at the descriptions of what you need to do to get a trophy. It was like, that's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. You can go out there and get that. A lot of them I just pass over because they involve something like you have to do this in multiplayer, or you have to go through some mode that you don't even touch or something like that. So it really didn't mean that much to me. So it's very rare that I go after trophies anyway. They just add up over time.
Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered is coming out in November. Sure. I may take a look at that. I don't remember really liking the game when it came out, even though it is Criterion developed.
The only one I played was I think I played The Run. Yeah. That's the only one I played. I think.
One of the Need for Speed games is free on Xbox or PS4 this month. I can't remember.
Most Wanted?
It's not Most Wanted.
High something? Or
Payback.
Okay, it's Payback. Okay.
Yeah, Need for Speed Payback. Let's see. Yeah, the RTX 3000 demand is going to outstrip all of our supply through the end of the year. This is something we kind of expected it. At the beginning of it, we figured, okay, the launch day and then a couple of weeks afterwards is going to be tough to get, but certainly by late October or November, you should have no problem getting a card. That is not the case at all.
Demand ridiculously high.
I say demand's ridiculously high, but I also kind of blame NVIDIA for... I don't know if they were prepared for this and kind of saw this coming and said, look, here's our plan. We know we're not going to have enough. Let's just, slowly do what we're going to do. But I don't know. I don't know if this backfired on them. I don't know what it's done. Part of me feels, though, that they didn't have supply ready. That this was a paper launch, which is basically something that's going to look good on paper.
Looks good on paper, but in execution, it's
horrible.
Falls short on execution, horrible.
And that's exactly how that feels. I don't necessarily, guys, you guys have been in the game, I say longer than I have, but as far as new card game, when new cards release, I haven't been in that since, I've never been in that. I got my 680, I don't know what it was, 690, 680, Lightning from MSI or whatever. That was an easy buy for me. That was not anything that was jump on it while it's in stock type of thing.
In my case with video cards, it's like whatever's good and available at a decent price. It was like at the time that I built mine, everyone was on the 1080s or whatever and things like that, or the 970s you were at. Yeah. It was a 1060. It was like, that's a good price. It does what I need to do. It's not going to be pushed hard for anything, but it's a good price compared to anything else. So I'll just take it and put it in there. It's been put in there. It's been working fine ever since. 980
Ti that I bought was the same thing. I had no issue picking up that card.
Yeah, and that card was so good the price wouldn't drop at all. It was so effective for you, wasn't it?
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, like there was nothing that improved on it, really, for the longest time, and so you just stuck with it.
At that time there was the 970, which was like the that was like the everyman card. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was the card that was just like Matt had one, James had one. They all had 970s, and I was looking at 970s, but their set of 980 Ti. I was like, that's the card I'm going to get. It's more expensive, so that's the card I'm going to get. But it wasn't like there was stock problems. And there may have been stock problems when the 970 released, but by the time I was in need of anything, stock problems were gone. So I've never really been in the thick of this to see this play out. But from everything that I can read and tell, it's never been this bad before. It's the inability to get a card like this has never been this bad, to where a card releases in September and you may not be able to really just casually pick one up until middle of next year sometime. I don't know. So, yeah, I saw the MSI subcontractor doing the scalping the cards, yes.
I was about to mention the scalpers are having a good time with it, I bet.
Yeah, a lot of people lay the blame on MSI, because MSI, of course, releases a statement saying, we were not aware of this. We will make sure that steps are taken so this doesn't happen again. A part of me feels like, no, MSI, you had to have been aware of this. I'm not a brand fanboy, even though I have a Lee & Lee case, fans, and AIO in my system.
With lights.
Yeah, I know. I'm also not a brand fanboy, even though I've got an MSI video. I've only ever had MSI video cards, and I have an MSI motherboard in my system right now. Do I want to get an MSI card for the 3080? At this point, I don't even know if I want to get a 3080 until either they, issue until it's easier to get, or until they announce that, hey, along with the 3080, we're going to do the 3080 Super, the 3080 Ti, or these other things that are going to fall in between their 3080 and the 3090 that they've got with the VRAM and everything else. So we'll see. One of the things that helped me, and I've mentioned this before, was, yes, at the time, I wanted to get that card. I knew when it was going to launch. I woke up in the middle of the night to check to see if it had launched on Best Buy or Amazon, and there was nothing there. I checked the next morning, ready to buy it, but like I said, everything went from coming soon to out of stock in the time it took to refresh a website. So the newness, or the hey, I must have this sort of thing, that has worn off on me. That whole feeling of I need to have this has left, which is great. It has forced me to be patient and to wait, which is not something I was going to do if I could get away with it. But now it has, and that's great, because we're seeing the early adopters find some problems in a couple of cards. We're seeing rumors of other tiers of the card and other things that may come. You've got AMD doing their releases on October 28th with their new cards. And from everything we can sort of tell by just the little information we have, their card and NVIDIA's 3080, which is the flagship, they're pretty close in what they can do. We don't have full benchmarks yet, but from the things that they have shown off and from what we know of the 3080, the benchmarks are kind of close. They're real close. So the only thing that outshines all of them is that $1,500 3090, which I have no intention of ever getting.
CRF was posted about the trend of anything new in gaming being so difficult to get online. Resellers using bots nonstop should be illegal. But,
yeah, I know.
I mean, but I don't see it as really a trend. I mean, it's been going on forever. Like, if it's a hot new thing and people are going to be going for it, you got scalpers out there taking stuff and going to resell it later on.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, Beanie Babies back in the day, remember those things? Yeah, I mean, I've had folks try to get me to go in stores and buy something for them because they ran out of their limit when they went in earlier. It was a hot new thing, and people were doing everything they could to get it. So yeah,
I know that Best Buy has made some deal with NVIDIA because you will no longer be able to get the NVIDIA cards, the actual cards the NVIDIA makes. You can get an MSI, you can get the third-party brands all over the place. But the actual ones from NVIDIA are only going to be sold at Best Buy now. I don't know how long that's going to be going on, but that's where it's at right now, is only at Best Buy can you get the original cards. Which, that's... And from what I can tell as well, this is one of the first times that the original card and the third-party cards that add more cooling and do the overclocking and everything else, the benchmarks are just, they're too close to give an advantage to either one. So normally I would go with a third-party card. Normally I would never touch one of the Founders Editions. I would want one of those third-party cards from like EVGA or MSI or Asus or any of those. Usually they have better potential for a lot of different things, but it looks like they are, you know, they're pretty much neck and neck. Mm-hmm. So about the only reason right now that I want to get a third-party card is because I don't have to deal with that 12-pin connector. The ones from NVIDIA have this 12-pin connector, which you have to have an adapter for that plugs in. It looks god-awful. And on the third-party cards, you don't have to do that. Mm. They don't have it as 12 pins. I think they have 3 8-pin connections, which is fine. I can do that, no problem. But anyway, this is a little too in the weeds, I think. PlayStation trophies we talked about. I want to get to that teardown, but I'll get to that in the next segment, I think. The Epic Games versus Apple trial is set for May of 2021. This is something I predict we'll see a documentary on at some point down the line. Kind of like the Book of Console Wars will have something where it's a whole documentary of Epic versus Apple.
Yeah, but
whenever we finally get to an outcome and the whole thing is settled down.
But I'm kind of more. The console wars thing was a lot more interesting than this.
It is. Well, it is because this is two greedy billion-dollar companies fighting for more money, whereas Nintendo and Sega was just trying to battle its way into get a piece of the pie. And how could you take on a...
It's your underdog story.
It really is.
There's no underdog story in this one.
It really is. No, there's not.
There's no underdog. There's no underdog in Apple Epic. Nintendo Sega was. So yeah, that I guess there it is. That makes it interesting.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
Wasn't there a decision made? Some judge with this case, like they decided not to. Fortnite's still banned from Apple Store, but their access to development tools is available.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
But I know the whole thing's going to trial though, so you know they said, well, it's worthy of a trial. So. Abzu is free on Epic Game Store right now, by the way. Mortal Kombat 11 getting new updates.
Yeah, so the new characters in there. So some of the reactions.
Rain and who was the other one?
Rain, Melina, and Rambo. With Sylvester Stallone's voice, I believe.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the thing that people are upset about was that Melina lost her lips from the body from the character model from XL.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't she wear a mask?
She had a mask, but yeah, that thing came off repeatedly in story mode. Yeah.
Doesn't she still wear a mask though in the game?
Same thing. She can wear a mask or she can't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's probably going to be some. What people are guessing is there's probably going to be some update where it changes the look of her face and maybe her character model and whatnot. But yeah. But Rambo, of course.
Rambo.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with.
Look, you got Terminator, you got RoboCop. Why not? How many 80s action icons can we put in this game?
Optimus Prime. I
don't know what type of legal ramifications we're gonna run into with that. I don't know. A Transformer running around in the MK universe.
Well, that's interesting though because it's Warner Brothers games, but they have RoboCop, which is not Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. They have Terminator, which is not Warner Brothers. Yeah. Rambo is not Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. The Texas Chainsaw guy, Leatherface, not Warner Brothers. Jason Voorhees, not Warner Brothers. None of those are. It's like if you wanted to bring in Warner Brothers, it'd be Voldemort, oh man, the dude from Temple of Doom.
Indiana Jones?
Yes.
Okay.
The dude with the heart thing and whatever. Ali, whatever his name is.
I don't know, Bob. I don't know what his name is.
Wait, that's not even Warner Brothers. That's not Warner Brothers either. That's Disney now. That was Paramount at the time. So no. Who else would be Warner Brothers? Agent Smith from The Matrix. They already have all the DC characters, so it's kind of ridiculous to throw them in. I'm trying to think of something from Warner Brothers that you could put in there. I don't know, the Bandit, or Buford T. Justice. You could throw. I don't know, man.
Buford.
Lord of the Rings characters would be good. Yeah. No, those are not Warner Brothers. Again, I'm trying to stick to something that is owned by Warner Brothers. Yosemite Sam. The orange-haired monster from the Looney Tunes cartoons. You know? But give him...
Gilgamesh? Gert?
I don't know what his name is.
Oh.
I don't even know if he ever had a name. But put him in there, but like put him in the whole... I mean, the realistic look of him with all that... I mean, yeah, you could make him something really, really bad. Yeah. Oh, I know Warner, but Iron Giant. Which, I mean, if you're going to scale, he's just going to...
Too big, man.
Just step on you.
Although we've had fatalities where that has happened, though. Jax, for whatever reason, grew to the size of the Iron Giant and stepped on you. That was a fatality.
I remember that, yeah.
Made no sense at all.
There was nothing. There was nothing to give that context whatsoever. We have a phone call.
Yeah.
Hey, you're on in-game chat. Who's this?
Hey, this is Leonard, man. I just wanted to be a bro and give you a heads up. Scooby-Doo.
That's Warner Brothers. You're right.
Exactly. So it'd be Scooby-Doo and the gang meets Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
So
Fred.
You're welcome, bro.
Yep.
Anyways, just wanted to make sure I showed love. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, buddy. Bye-bye.
Take care now.
Hey, you're on in-game chat. Who's this?
Beaver Team Justice.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, what are some Warner Brothers things? And, of course, he mentioned Scooby-Doo, which is fantastic. Because you could easily use a bunch of villains from that if you wanted to. And I was trying to think of other Warner Brothers things that have some iconic bad guy type roles that they haven't already done before. But it's amazing. See, that's my whole thing, though. If you talk about licensing, it doesn't matter. They've already done this without any of these Warner Brothers characters.
Like I said, it's like 80s, iconic 80s action characters.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget. Predator. Predator was in there, too.
Predator,
Freddy Krueger.
I don't think Predator's Warner Brothers either. I don't know who. I think it's all like New Line now, but I'm not sure. So, anyway, thanks for calling, Chris.
All right, bye.
Yeah, no, you got a kick out of that Buford T. Justice thing.
Buford.
Well, I'm just saying, it'd be kind of cool to throw him in there.
You gonna throw his son in there too?
Sure, why not?
Talking trash about his mama.
Yeah, right. Special moves when he gets on the horn and calls in a big rig to come run you down or something like that. I don't know. There's so many different things.
I'm gonna have to watch that movie again now.
I'm just trying to think of other Warner Brothers characters that's and I shouldn't because we need to take a break. When we come back, we'll dive more into this news. We'll talk about the breakdown of that of the teardown of the PlayStation 5 and what we learned from watching that. It's actually kind of a cool video. I wouldn't mind Microsoft doing the same thing, or somebody who has a Microsoft console to do the same thing, to actually just sit there and tear it down. But Sony did that. I really enjoyed that. That was kind of cool. So anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more in-game chat. Here is music from Five Nights at Freddy's. Its sister location, that version of the game, and it's called Crumbling Dreams. We'll be back with more in-game chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. I don't know what this music is. It's blank. No idea what game this is from.
Sounds like Sounds like something that'd be in Resident Evil, like the last 5 minutes
Right.
before the place explodes. Or
I know
or
it
the
wasn't a
time gets
Resident
to you.
Evil game. I didn't download anything from Resident Evil, so
I mean, it sounds fast-paced, like a chase or something
Yeah.
going on here or something.
but I can't remember what it's from.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the one we're going to go into at the end of the show, I have no idea what that is either. So, anyway. He said the PS5 had 1 million parts spread all over the table. Series X has 8 parts. I know, Lethal. I know you're... I know you're big on that Microsoft stuff, man. I get it. I understand. But, like you said, nobody's going to be taking down their nobody's going to be taking apart their console to put in their storage drive, except only the most dedicated to do that. Which I don't know. I didn't watch the entire video, and I watched some of it in silence, just to watch him kind of take it apart a little bit and see the inside. But I didn't watch the entire thing to see how far you had to take it apart to get to where you would install that the SSD. I assume you don't have to completely take the thing apart to do that, but I don't know exactly what it was. So yeah, Sony officially showed the innards of the PlayStation 5 today. Apart from all the talk about how giant it is, its fan size and all that jazz, the teardown also confirmed a couple of smaller but important details. For one, the video revealed that every PS5 is equipped with a Wi-Fi 6 wireless antenna that also supports Bluetooth 5.1. Wi-Fi 6 is the snappier name for 802.11ax, which is capable of transfer speeds of 9.6 gigabits per second. One of Wi-Fi 6's biggest advantages is that it allows the router to manage more wireless devices more efficiently, maintaining faster speeds more consistently across all of them. In other words, the speed isn't so much Wi-Fi 6's biggest advantage over Wi-Fi 5, it's how it allows routers to deal with demanding traffic from your various devices at home, a good way to future-proof the PS5. Teardown also confirmed the speeds of its various USB ports. The USB-C on the front, as well as the two USB-A, which are the blue ports on the back, are all super speed rated, capable of speeds up to 10 gigabits per second. The only standard speed USB port is the USB-A on the front, which is the black one. By comparison, Xbox Series X and S only has a Wi-Fi 5 chip, which is the older current-gen model. Likewise, the Xbox consoles don't come with USB-C, and their USB-A ports all run at the default 5 gigabits per second data rate. On the subject of ports into which add-ons will need to be plugged, the teardown also gave us a first look at the M.2 bay, where users will be able to plug off-the-shelf NVMe PCIe 4.0 drives to expand the PlayStation 5 storage. Back in Mark Cerny said that only SSDs Sony has validated and tested can go into that port. The company has yet to share such a list, of course, but we're getting close to that. Another interesting revelation for today's video is that the PS5 uses liquid metal to cool its chips. Liquid metal sits between the fan and the heatsink and the chip itself, which is a big change from the standard thermal paste used in PS4, PS4 Pro, and many other devices. I've heard just a little bit about liquid metal. It's superior to thermal paste, although it could kill any chip it touches if it spills out of its chamber, which is why Sony engineers stress that the company has been testing it for years to ensure it stays put. Some people have done this on their computer builds. I believe it requires...
I was about to ask how that works, like some sealed apparatus or whatever, some sealing around it?
Yeah, I believe it requires you to delid your CPU, which is basically your CPU has the gold part on the bottom, which makes contact with your motherboard, and then the top part, which is where your thermal paste would go on. There's a device you can get which will flip that top off, and then you can do other stuff to it. You can use the liquid metal, that sort of thing, as a coolant. But I mean, that takes, it's not something that's really for your extreme enthusiasts who really want to cool their stuff, like do some heavy overclocking. But it also requires a lot of skill of knowing what you're doing, because you're delidding a CPU is just, I mean, you basically void your warranty, the moment that happens.
Yeah.
Not that you have much of a good warranty anyway with a CPU.
If you mod anything, you're going to be voiding the warranty anyway. My fight sticks. I avoided all the warranties of those every time I get them because I got to put my own stuff in.
But that's the other thing is that it is so risky to do that it's not something I would ever touch.
Yeah.
You know. And Arioka makes a good point. That doesn't sound safe at all. Sony can't test this over many years because PS5 wasn't done. I'm not going to be a tester for Sony. I'm sure they've been testing something about it, but I get it. I understand that there is no long-term, real-world testing for what they're doing. So there's no real. They aren't able to test in the real world. It's a lot like when Bungie, and I've only got this reference for Destiny. It's a lot like when Bungie would say that we've been testing this or testing that. Well, you can only test it whenever you put it out there in the real world, because you're testing with a batch of. Pick a number, give them the benefit of the doubt and say 10,000 people are testing this. There's no way 10,000 people are testing it, but give them the benefit of the doubt and say that. That is nothing. That is just a blade of grass amongst a football field when you talk about real world testing of millions and millions of players. And that's just for code. I'm not even talking about hardware. Mm-hmm. So when this gets into the hands of hundreds of thousands of people, and gets some real world testing done, who's to say?
For some reason, when you mentioned liquid metal and that new cooling thing or whatever, I started thinking about Microsoft and the Red Ring of Death.
Yeah,
how often that happened. And
that's what Arioka. That's the next thing Arioka said. Customers are going to test this, like the red ring for 360 and the yellow light on the PS3.
Because I still remember that tournament at Final Round. Someone had a brand new Xbox Elite, and within about 2 hours of play at a fighting game tournament, that thing red ringed. Yeah, and that was just. Wow, we didn't even. I feel confident that they tested enough for themselves to say, "Here's how it's going to work. Here's how this works. It looks perfectly fine." I don't feel like it's slapped together at all, but it hasn't gone under any kind of testing amongst a genuine stress test.
100,000 people using it to see the 100,000 people using it mean there's probably 200,000 ways that it's going to be tested. From standing up, laying down, having something sitting on top of it, being put into a different corner where heat doesn't exhaust too well, but people think it does because you haven't told them any other way, or because you haven't tested it in that environment. There's just a number of different things that just isn't tested about this. I'm not saying it's bad. I think it'll be completely fine, but time is only going to tell on that one. So okay, let's see. The video picture shows some sort of sponge foam thing around the application. They made a protective channel in case it does leak, but even if it does leak, that's basically what is cooling your CPU. And so if it leaks, great, no other parts got hurt except your CPU, which means you can't run the thing at all.
Can't run the system at all.
So, we'll see how that all pans out.
How much would that be to fix?
I don't know. They're all taking a loss on these things.
But still.
Obviously, if this is something that happened in your PC, it's going to cost you, if you've taken any kind of precautions to safeguard all the rest of your components from a leak like that, then all you've really got to do is replace the CPU, maybe the motherboard, depending on what happened. Yeah. That gets into some expensive territory, obviously. Because
remember how skittish you were talking about your PC build. Remember how skittish we were talking about how it makes you feel when you think about liquid cooling, your first foray into it.
In 2012, I had the option to do that on my build. I was looking at these Corsair coolers, and they were all these. They didn't call them AIOs at the time; they called them something else. I don't know exactly what I called them. Way more expensive than just getting a fan to put on top of the CPU.
Right.
And it wasn't a thing. People weren't putting AIOs in their machine at that time. They were still using fan coolers. Those were expensive to put in. They didn't come with all the LED nonsense that you've got now. And I was considering it, but at the time I was like, I'm not putting anything with water into my machine.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The water with electronics anywhere near the area. That's the part, like I said, that makes you skittish. unless like you said, unless you see plenty of instances where those computers run fine. They got water in there and they're running fine as is. And if they do leak, it's not too bad to the point where it destroys everything. It's just something that needs to be replaced.
See, Uncle Elias said I bought one AIO. It leaked out of the box. End of my foray into that. I don't blame you, man. I bought one, so I got an AIO this time because I'd never used one. I was going with all these LED things, and I just thought, you know what? Let's go with it. I looked up Lee & Lee's AIO. It's fairly new. It's called the Galahad, and I looked up some tests or what I could find of tests, and it's rated pretty good. It's rated very good, actually. And so I said, sure, I'll go with that. Let's try an AIO cooler. I've never done one before. Let's just try it. I've never done all this RGB nonsense with all these fans and everything else. I've never done a build like this before. Why not just continue the process and see how this goes? And so I did. So part of it was just to get more RGB-ness in there. But at the same time, it was also just like, hey, we're trying something new. Let's see how that goes. So, what else do we have? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he says kudos to me for doing the build. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I know AIOs are not a fan. If a fan works, it'll just continue to work. You know? It's one of those things where if it works out of the box and it works when you plug it in, it's going to work. AIOs are not that way. Even if it works out of the box, there's no telling in how many years that the pump may die on it. It has a lifespan. Fans probably have a lifespan too, but they can exceed their lifespan dramatically.
Yeah. You'll be saying, you tell yourself, wow, that thing lasted longer than I thought it would. Yeah.
Whereas an AIO has a limited life. It may exceed that lifespan, but at some point, too many mechanical things involved. The pump's going to die. So yeah. So Best Buy says they're starting their Black Friday sales this Tuesday to coincide with Amazon Prime Day. For 2 days, on October 13th and 14th, shoppers can get dozens of deals straight from the not-yet-released Black Friday ad, including one of the most anticipated deals of the season, a 70-inch Samsung 4K Smart TV for just $550. A deal so good, it'll be on the ad's front cover. Whatever. So yeah, that Samsung TV for $530. Laptops starting at $119. Sounds nice, but we'll see. I don't believe him for a second that it's part of our Black Friday ad that isn't yet released. No, it's something that you're doing to basically compete against Amazon Prime Day. I don't have any listing of anything else that they might have for sale, because I'm curious if they're going to have something in the game category, you know?
Yeah.
But that is Monday and Tuesday. No. 11, 12. Tuesday and Wednesday, 13th and 14th. Mortal Kombat 11, PlayStation 5, we talked about that. AMD Ryzen 5000 series release date, prices, and specs. They're pricey. Depends on what you've got, where you're coming from. But those new chips from AMD kind of up there in price range. Trying to see where the price range was. Yeah, the 5800X is $450. The 5600X is $300. That's your low end, and the high end is like 500 and no, not even the high end. The mid high end is 550. The really high end, the big one, is $800. Yeah, there's no Lethal Migrant says it crushes Intel's the 10 series. Yeah, it's no doubt that it does. It easily does. I have a 3700X, and from what I understand, I'm good. I don't need to move beyond that right now. At least not at these introductory prices. I'm okay at my 3700X chip. Yeah, some of that the price difference for me at the time, it's not worth it for me. Again, like I said, it depends on where you're coming from as far as how that price looks for you to upgrade. So, what else do we have? Microsoft sides with Epic in its fight for Apple, promises a more open MS store. Ooh, Marvel's Avengers is not doing very well on PC.
I see that quote and I think, what are you basing that on?
I know. Marvel's Avengers seems to have vanished off the face of the earth, coming from VG247.com. Though it only released in September, the game rarely comes up in conversation online, which is the opposite of what you want from a service game in that style. A combination of bugs, lacks of meaningful in-game content, and big gaps in communication from the developer have caused players to give up on the game. The Steam numbers for the game are dangerously close to dipping below 1,000 concurrent players. Even at the best of times, the game never really had a massive audience, peaking at only 31,000 at launch on Steam. The most obvious side effect of such a small player base is that it extends matchmaking times beyond what most players find reasonable.
It don't take much for an online game to lose people, man.
Yeah.
If you're not satisfying, you're not fun, if it's a bad experience, yeah, those folks will leave quick.
That's what I had too. I tried the Avengers beta. It was awful. Not surprised nobody's playing it. A lot played for the story, I think. Yeah, they should have just made another Deus Ex game. Honestly, I agree. They should have made it a single. They should have never done the games as a service thing with Avengers. I know that's where everything is going, but if they had just really put in the effort to make a single player or co-op thing that has a storyline from beginning to end, and not does this whole game service thing.
Yeah.
I think it might have fared better for him. Because at the start, I think it had some legs. And I think it could have had even more legs.
It was just the name that gave it legs.
Oh, easily.
The name gave it legs, but it's like we talked about before. It sounds good on paper, but the execution was poor.
The studio head had this to say to our players: every day we fight to make we are making fixes, improvements, and additions as fast as we safely can to make the game we all aspire it to be. New content pieces coming in the weeks ahead. In addition, we've announced 2 new heroes coming in the near future. Lastly, we'll continue to add new content to the game in the coming months, as well as address issues in overall game balance, including loot distribution and quality of life features everyone is clamoring for. I mean, if they can pull it off, maybe by year 2, you can jump in and be like, okay, now I'm playing the game that everybody kind of wanted.
Did that kind of work for No Man's Sky?
It did work for No Man's Sky. And I don't know that it took a year, but it worked for No Man's Sky to kind of backtrack on a lot of things.
Yeah, but No Man's Sky wasn't a games as a service, was it?
Not really, no. Not in the way that this is.
Yeah.
Not in the way that Avengers is. A lot of this is closely related, I say, to something like Destiny. But if you look at Destiny, and then you go from what Destiny 2 was to... Was it 2? Or was it 1? It was 1. If you go from what Destiny 1 was to what they did with King's Fall... which was a massive revamp and everything else, and it brought it up to speed for a lot of players to come into that. Or if you come into, kind of what they've done with a lot of the quality of life changes as well, coming into Destiny very late in the game, but you're not having to deal with a lot of what we had to deal with a long time ago. You missed out on a lot of stuff, but still.
Or maybe you were talking about games as a service. You say everything's going that way, but maybe people are burnt out on that thing, games as a service.
No, probably not.
No? Okay.
I think it'll still stick around. And I will tell you, it's not necessarily because of... Oh, wow, we're almost done. It's not necessarily because of what people want. It's like that's what makes them money. You know? Whether or not people want it or not, people are still paying for it. And it's something that you can continue to add to the game so people continue to pay into it. Mm-hmm. That's what companies are looking for, a steady stream of flowing income coming in instead of like, we'll sell you this game one time and that's it. Mm-hmm. They want to be able to sell you more and more of that game over time to a bunch of different people for, $10 a pop for a little bit of extra content. So.
And not a lot of people are willing to wait till everything's released before picking it up.
Yeah. There's a couple stories I didn't make, but we're running out of time. I want to thank everybody for joining us in the chat room and everybody else who was listening. Almost lost my laptop here.
Don't do that.
Thanks everybody for grabbing us on iTunes. We are still on iTunes. We're still on YouTube. We're still on Twitch. We're still on Discord. Find us. Talk to us. Tell us hello. Send me your suggestions for new things to add to my PC. So you guys have a great one. No show next weekend. We will be back, assuming nothing goes wrong in the hospital. We'll be back the weekend after that. Here is music from a game I don't know because it's broken off here. I have no idea what it is.
Name that tune, folks.
You'll just have to figure it out on your own to know what game this is. So I have no idea. It's from a spooky game. It may not sound like it when I play it. I have no idea. Let's just play it and see what it sounds like. Okay, that sounds like a spooky game. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next. We'll see you Saturday from next, basically.